My name is Jody, and I just retired from my super important yet super boring corporate job where I explain complex things to the C-suite executives in 5 minutes or less to get them to actually make decisions and do something. I will now take these corporate superpowers and do deep dives into current events and help to answer the obvious questions. And this is my podcast. So for our inaugural episode, I decided to take it easy and start with something that would never be considered controversial. Okay, exactly who am I kidding? And if we're going to be friends, you will need to learn that I have a lot of opinions and a lot of snark. So why am I going to start trying to be good now? Let's talk about the attempted assassination of the Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump. I want to get this out of the way. I'm a libertarian. I don't ally with either party because, well, I'm a libertarian, and we pretty much don't trust parties. In fact, we don't even trust each other. So I'll attempt to stick with the facts, common sense, and my disdain for spoon-fed media. Are you ready to explore with me? Let's go. In order to answer the obvious question, which is, how the did this happen, we have the 3 C's. And no, I do not mean cut, clarity, and carrot, although if you would like to send me a few carrots, I wouldn't turn them down. We're talking about the 3 basic theories of why something occurs: incompetency, complacency, and conspiracy. Hanlon's razor, which should not be mistaken for Halen like Van Halen's razor, tells us never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. And let's be honest, I doubt any of the fine members of the Secret Service woke up and said, today would be a great day to let a guy come in and shoot Trump. Okay, conspiracy nuts, hold your horses. We will discuss that later. But for now, let's assume that our trusted Secret Service actually wanted to do a good job. So let's talk about why they failed. In 2021, the Secret Service had 7,600 employees and wanted to be staffed up about 25% or 10,000 employees by 2025. Right now, records show that they have about 8,000 employees, so they are not hiring at a fast enough pace. Speaking of pace, even when they are offering up to a 25% retention bonus, it seems they can barely keep the wheels on this bus. Because in 2023, 48% of the members of the Secret Service left. That, my friends, is nothing to be bragging about. And to make it even better, if you are still employed at the Secret Service, well, you pretty much are about as unhappy as you can get. The Secret Service was ranked 413th out of 459 agencies in job satisfaction. Using my amazing knowledge of companies where people can't wait to leave, I will tell you what's left: the people about to retire and the people who cannot find a better job. So to sum up our incompetency, we have unhappy people fast-tracked into positions where they had little to no experience and missed huge red flags because of lack of training and lack of seasoning, which is why we had members of the Secret Service hiding behind their protectee that couldn't holster their weapons or were walking around going, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? And while I know everybody wants to blame it on that 3-letter word, DE&I, it has nothing to do with DE&I. Let's understand something. First of all, yes, it is ridiculous to have a 5'5" woman trying to stand up and protect Trump, but it has absolutely nothing to do with what happened. If these people were properly trained, they could have been 2 foot tall and it wouldn't have mattered because this would not have happened. Our second choice is complacency. Occam's razor says one should prefer the hypothesis that requires the fewest assumptions, or as I would like to call it, keep it simple, stupid. This was a small event announced just a week or so before it occurred in a really small facility. By the way, I'm pretty sure I've shown my dog at this facility. I don't know if I've ever mentioned I show dogs. And I'm pretty sure that the security that we have to keep PETA out was better than this event. Oh, and by the way, the movie Best in Show, totally the same as a dog show, but I digress. On paper, this should have been a piece of cake. Basically, field, small crowd in comparison to most of the big stadiums they're usually at. So hot that no one that wasn't a diehard MAGA would be nuts enough to come in and swelter. With the Republican National Convention starting in a few days, I'm sure many of the experienced agents were in Milwaukee, and the effort they put into securing this event definitely showed. We've been told by the head of Secret Service so many different inane explanations it's hard to keep up, including the slope of the roof. But after learning how hard it is to keep agents, maybe they do have to wrap them in bubble wrap. But here's the thing. I'm not a sniper, nor do I play one on TV, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But I have played Call of Duty a couple times, and even I know that if you want to shoot someone, it's easier from above. And look over there. That roof looks like a great place. And we also know that on July 8th, the Secret Service went and walked the venue. And it's really hard for me to believe that they never thought that building was a problem, or even the water tower. I mean, come on, that seems to be the best place to do the maximum damage. But we're talking about complacency. So let's think about this. The dude flew a drone over the venue a few hours before to determine the best place to put himself and his gun. He also went and brought a rangefinder to ensure that he could take the shot. And you just have to wonder, what was the Secret Service doing while this guy was out doing all these things? They let him drive his car up close enough to bring all of his equipment there, walk around for at least 3 to 4 hours, and it's not like they didn't see him. We've now been told that both Secret Service and law enforcement had determined that he was acting strange, but they didn't do anything about it. In fact, they lost track of him. And we've been told now that 10 minutes before he shot, they had upgraded him from a person of interest to an actual threat. But did that stop them from putting Trump on the stage? No. And you know why? Because there hadn't been any assassination attempts in 40 years, and they didn't think it would happen. Well, look where we are. The Secret Service allowed this to happen and ignored red flags because they had zero sense of urgency, zero sense of following proper procedures. They kept it so simple they went from secret to stupid. And now we get to our third choice, and honestly, the most fun choice, conspiracy. And I don't have a cool philosopher saying on this, so I'll instead make one up. If there's a lack of information, make it up. And in this case, something happened I never thought would occur. Both sides think it's a conspiracy. Can you believe that? Who ever thought that Bette Midler and Cat Turd would agree? It warms my libertarian heart to see everybody questioning, but of course they are diametrically opposed foes. Yeah, I love Hamilton, and just know this, I loved Hamilton before it was cool. So the left thinks that Trump faked this whole thing and shot a couple of people to make it look legit and has an ear owie, and the right thinks it was an inside job. Now, I can't give you a definitive answer to either of these, but this is what happens when information is not forthcoming. Like, oh, I don't know, a daily briefing with the head of Homeland Security and Secret Service? Oh, wait, that's not happening. Personally, I think since it's in the midst of an election, there's a push to just bury this, oh, look over here, don't look over here, that kind of mentality from all the bureaucrats. Because, let's be honest, they're trying to keep both sides happy, aka keep their jobs after the election. So while doing the red tape shuffle, people are filling in the void. And let's understand something, it's not just cream that rises to the top, so does the... I know you've been waiting for this. Here's my opinion what the obvious answer is. I think it's incompetence with a nice side of complacency. We have an agency that is unable to fulfill procurement of highly trained professionals due to mismanagement because, let's be honest, this issue didn't happen overnight. The system is not just broken, it's rotted from the inside, and the patching can no longer keep up. And because of this, a man is dead, 3 people were shot, and this could have caused a catastrophic unrest within our country. In corporate speak, we call this a Band-Aid for a broken leg. The Secret Service should not be a political agency. It should house our best and brightest in law enforcement, and it should be adequately staffed and trained. But in order to do that, it needs to be reformed, and it needs to be run agnostic as to who is in the White House. We need to have a set of standards that all agents need to meet, and then no one will care what bathroom they use. We also need to figure out why people are leaving and fix that. I will tell you, I doubt that's because of money. It's there because there was serious issues from within, and the people who wanted to fix it got fed up and left. People leave jobs because they're not allowed to fix the issues they see. They get tired of banging their heads against the walls, put up by worthless sandwich eaters who sit in meetings and explain the 10,000 reasons why it cannot be done. We need to decide if we are Americans or Americants. To me, the answer is obvious, and I hope it is to you too.